first members of the Church of Satan. The musician was one of the first members of the church and even credits his involvement in the organization for his success in the industry. Liberace and Anton LaVey were also good friends. Kenneth Anger. Filmmaker Kenneth Anger has a weird fascination with Satan, as he has a Lucifer tattoo across his chest. Today, he is a practitioner of paganism, not necessarily devil worship. Anger was also friends with LaVey before he started the Church of Satan. He also studied Aleister Crowley, who is well known as an authority on the occult. Not to mention, Anger has also made a short film called Lucifer Rising. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to The Richest for more incredible, fascinating videos daily. Thank you for watching.
Let's face it, we know that when a celebrity dies, that's it, they're gone. But what if there was even the tiniest shred of a chance that they weren't dead? It's that slimmest bit of hope, that 1% chance that our favorite rapper became an FBI informant, or that teenage star just wanted to get away from the fame that makes some people hold on to the hope that some of the biggest dead celebrities could still be alive and kicking. Tupac. In 1996, rapper Tupac Shakur was gunned down in Las Vegas. From day one, rumors swirled that he wasn't actually dead. After all, he was cremated quite quickly. The murderers were never found, and new songs kept being released long after he was dead. Then the sightings started. Pictures of him at a rally, stories and photographs from Cuba, and a viral shot of Tupac with Rihanna, all fueling the belief that he's been in hiding for 20 years. Andy Kaufman. If you've ever followed the career of this comedian, then you know that he was strange, off the wall, and exactly the kind of person who was into hoaxes. According to a close friend, the 35-year-old had actually talked about faking his death years before lung cancer killed him in 1984. Kaufman had also met with a man named Alan Abel, a professional hoaxer who had managed to fake his own death in 1979. Then, of course, there are the blurry photos and fuzzy video, all said to be of this former comedian now living in New Mexico. Brandon Lee. In 1993, while filming what was supposed to be his breakout film, The Crow, Brandon Lee was killed by a gun which accidentally fired a real bullet. Immediately, the conspiracy theories swirled. In one strange story, those who think Lee is still alive believe he has taken on the identity of Christopher Green, a political activist. Kurt Cobain. In the 1990s, the music world was rocked by the suicide of Nirvana's lead singer, Kurt Cobain. The figurehead of the grunge movement, Cobain's death was breaking news and had many thinking it couldn't possibly be true. Among a string of unanswered questions, some cite the bizarre suicide note and the total lack of conclusive crime scene photos as proof that the rocker is still alive. There's even one insane theory that he became Weezer frontman, Rivers Cuomo. River Phoenix. In the world of rising stars that were snuffed out too early, River Phoenix is one of the biggest. The 23-year-old actor died of a drug overdose just outside the notorious Viper Room in 1993. Or did he? Conspiracy theorists think he continues to live on as Mark Dice, a political activist. Various moles and facial features are cited as proof, although we're thinking this one is a bit of a stretch. Michael Jackson. When you're the king of pop and one of the world's biggest celebrities, you just know your death is going to stir up all sorts of stories. But is Michael Jackson still alive? Well, if you believe he is, then his 2009 death was simply a way to get away from the media's circus that dogged him every day. Even though we have chilling post-mortem photos of the singer, some will point out the casket was closed during his funeral. Then there's the 2016 picture said to be of Jackson sitting in a crowd. If he's trying to stay away from the cameras, he's failing pretty miserably. Elvis Presley. Every year, people swear they see Elvis Presley, usually at their local grocery store or gas station. How could the singer possibly be alive? People will point out the inconsistencies when it came to his death. First, it was a heart attack, then an overdose, and one family member even said it was suicide. The body in the casket was thought to be wax, and some observers even said it was sweating, as if he was still alive. Then there's the never-ending sightings, which are surely proof, or maybe just evidence that too many people have sideburns and really dated fashion sense. Jim Morrison. It was said the lifestyle of drugs and alcohol killed Jim Morrison in 1971 at the age of 27, but some fans say he just needed to get away from it all. That would explain all the sightings over the years from Paris to the United States. There's even one homeless hippie that's popped up in New York who some are convinced is actually Morrison. After all, he talks like him, moves like him, and we guess kinda looks like him? Princess Diana. In 1997, the world was shocked to hear that Princess Diana had been killed in a car crash. Some actually think the princess faked her own death to escape the media who had followed her since the 1980s. Of course, such an elaborate plan is ridiculous sounding, especially when you add in that she would have to cut herself off from her two sons, William and Harry. Amy Winehouse. Medical experts, family, and friends are all certain that singer Amy Winehouse passed away in 2011. Sure, there are overactive imaginations, but more than a few people actually believe the singer is alive after faking her death. One theory put forward blows everything else out of the water by arguing Winehouse is on an island with Tupac and Michael Jackson. That must be some island. Well, folks, that's our video. What do you think of these insane conspiracy theories? Let us know in the comments down below. And while you're here, check out these other videos, and please subscribe to The Richest for more crazy content all the time. Thanks.
Ten disturbing conspiracies about kids' cartoons. Number 10. SpongeBob is a radioactive mutant. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Well, according to one conspiracy theory, a group of radioactive mutants. This theory comes from the fact that Bikini Bottom, where SpongeBob SquarePants is set, is named after the real-life coral reef Bikini Atoll, as was confirmed by Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob. Bikini Atoll was a popular site of nuclear arms testing during the 1940s and 1950s, including the Bravo test in 1954, which was 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The animated series could therefore be a commentary on the dangers of nuclear testing, hence the strange collection of creatures at Bikini Bottom. Furthermore, theorists have suggested that Sandy's spacesuit could actually be a protective hazmat suit, and also that Krusty Krab uses radioactive materials to cook their burgers, which is why they can cook underwater. Number 9. The Smurfs are racist anti-Semites. The Smurfs have been a popular presence on our TV screens since 1981 and existed as a comic book series for more than 2 decades before that. Many people have drawn a fairly obvious parallel between the white pointed hats of the blue creatures and white supremacist group the KKK, but there is a conspiracy theory that delves even deeper into the idea that the Smurfs could be racist. The theory draws on the fact that the main villain of the show, Gargamel, is a dark-haired, large-nosed, money-loving character, similar to the derogatory stereotype of Jewish people. What's more, Gargamel even has a cat called Azrael, which, suspiciously, is the same name as the Jewish angel of death. And then there's this ridiculous scene, in which the characters appear to give a Nazi salute. Number 8. Disney is pushing a sexual agenda. The Walt Disney Company has been producing animated family favorites since it was founded in 1923. However, there's a theory that Walt Disney had disturbing intentions behind his filmmaking, which have permeated the company's movies ever since. The theory is that subliminal sexual references have been inserted into Disney movies to corrupt children and encourage promiscuous behavior. This may sound absolutely crazy, but the theory is drawn from quite a large number of examples, such as the word sex apparently being shown in The Lion King, or a character with what may be an erection appearing in The Little Mermaid. You can even hear a creepy sexual message in Aladdin.
Good, can you just take off that?
So, could Disney really have been pushing a perverted sexual agenda? Number 7. Winnie the Pooh is psychologically disturbed. We all know that Eeyore, the gloomy grey donkey from Winnie the Pooh, was clinically depressed. But what about the other residents of the 100-acre wood? An article by the Canadian Medical Association argued that each of the characters from the beloved children's stories has a diagnosable mental condition. Piglet, for example, has generalized anxiety disorder and a stammer. Tigger has ADHD, and Rabbit has obsessive-compulsive disorder. Owl has dyslexia, hence why he often swaps or misses letters when he writes, and Pooh has obsessive fixations, most notably on honey. There's also the theory that Christopher Robin, the only human character in Winnie the Pooh, is schizophrenic, seeing as the characters are all imaginary creations based on his childhood toys. Number 6. The Care Bears are voodoo gods. The Care Bears is a show about adorable teddy bears who live in a magical cloud city in the sky. Sounds sickeningly sweet, but could there be darker forces at play? Conspiracy theorists have picked up on the similarities between the name Care Bears and Carrefour, an ancient Loire voodoo spirit. But it goes deeper than that. If you look into the kind of terminology that the Care Bears use, there are even more frightening similarities between them and voodoo gods. The characters often refer to each other and the children watching as friends, similar to how the Voodoo Loire are often called friendly spirits or friends by their followers. Furthermore, the bears' tummy symbols that represent their personalities, such as a crescent moon for Bedtime Bear and a rainbow for Cheer Bear, share a worrying resemblance with symbols that represent the various voodoo gods. Number 5. Tom and Jerry is Nazi propaganda. A worrying conspiracy about one of the world's longest-running cartoons suggests that Tom and Jerry could actually have been a tool of pro-Nazi propaganda. The show began in 1940 and became popular during the height of the Second World War. The choice of character names, therefore, is somewhat suspicious, seeing as Tommy's is slang for British soldiers and Jerry's is slang for German soldiers. What's most disturbing about this is that Jerry is the good guy who uses his superior intelligence to defeat Tom's evil schemes. All other cartoons at the time would name their animal characters things like Sniffles and Droopy. Even more curious is that Tom was originally called Jasper, so some theorists have questioned why it needed to be changed. Also, it is worth noting that most British and American shows during this era did overtly include anti-Nazi propaganda, so it's rather weird that Tom and Jerry didn't join in with this campaign. Could they perhaps have been campaigning for the other side? Number 4. The Flintstones are from the future. Although you would have good reason to assume that long-running cartoon The Flintstones is set during the Stone Age, there is an intriguing alternate interpretation. The Flintstone family are living in a post-apocalyptic future. The idea is that Fred Flintstone is in actual fact a super-evolved human, possessing superhuman strength and speed. He also only has 4 fingers, which ties in with the evolutionary theory that humans will eventually de-evolve their little finger, as it doesn't serve as great a function as the other fingers. And then there's the line in the opening credits describing the Flintstones as the modern Stone Age family. Bedrock Society certainly does look to have modern influences, with the characters driving cars and watching TV, so maybe this isn't that ludicrous after all. Number 3. Timmy's on antidepressants. The Fairly Odd Parents is a highly successful animated series about the life of average kid Timmy Turner and his magic little fish which grants his every wish. But could his fish/fairy/pencil godparents be a metaphor for something more sinister? Let's look at Timmy's life for a second. The 10-year-old is pretty much neglected by his parents, tortured by his babysitter, and bullied at school by both his classmates and teacher. His life is, in a word, miserable. Therefore, it's perhaps not all that implausible to believe that Timmy could be depressed. One theory is that Cosmo and Wanda are not magical fairies at all, but antidepressants prescribed to help Timmy deal with his dismal life. When Timmy abuses his godparents' power, he always suffers the repercussions, much like those misusing narcotics would do. Number 2. Dead Ed and Eddie. Cartoon Network's Ed, Edd and Eddy, which ran from 1999 to 2009, appears at first to be a harmless series about a group of preteen boys living on a cul-de-sac in the fictional town of Peach Creek. But when you think about it, there's something slightly off about it. Most notably, there's the fact that the characters' world consists entirely of that cul-de-sac, which, bizarrely, doesn't seem to include any adults. A popular theory about the series is that the cul-de-sac is actually purgatory, and the children all died in different eras. The theory even comes complete with suggestions for how each of them could have died. Eddie, for example, drowned in a river in 1939.